Hey, 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 guys. What's going on? Welcome back to Colorless Oranges, where I share my experiences to help better yours. I'm your host, Sydney Hyatt, and today we are talking art is up for interpretation. I think that is a really hard topic for me to discuss because I always want you to know exactly what I mean and why I said what I said. Because I don't feel like a lot of people understand me and understand the things that I come up with and like my ideas. So I always feel like I have to go in depth and I have to overshare. And then I recently had a conversation with an artist that I respect a lot, and they were telling me how they don't care what other people think about what they made. Like they made it and that's it. Like they let it go. I have this like burning thing inside of me where you have to know exactly why I chose the words that I chose and why I said what like it all means something. But through the progression of this podcast, I've realized you will never fully understand me and what I have to say. We can be on the same maybe level and you kind of can understand a bit, but not to the full extent the way that I can. And that's obviously because we don't have the same experiences. And as many experiences I can tell you, sometimes either if you haven't gone through it, you don't feel it, or you can just not be somebody who understands things like that. What really brought this topic on about was that I heard this song recently and I wanted to go through the lyrics with you guys. I talked about how I wanted to incorporate music onto my podcast some way, somehow. And I think that this is a good way to do so because it is going to prove my point. The song is Long, Long Time by Linda Ronstadt. And the lyrics is really what started this podcast today. She said, "Wait for the day you'll go away, knowing that you warned me of the price I'd have to pay. And life's full of flaws, who knows the cause? Living in the memory of a love that never was." First of all, when I heard this song, my mom played it for me the other day. I love being in the car with my mom because she would just be randomly putting songs. And this song was so familiar to me. Like I was singing along with it, not every single word, but it felt as though I knew the song. I mean, it's a very unique song. I don't really listen to this type of music, but I am always drawn to it, like Lana Del Rey and stuff like that. Like I love that kind of music. And so I started bawling my eyes out. Why? I never really tried for a love, that hard in a sense of like trying to give everything to somebody who wouldn't give it back to you. Because I think I'm going to be honest, I think I'm justifying it right now. I think I'm finding maybe that person just couldn't love me or something like that. That's not the point of this though. The point is, I think she was so enamored by this person. She was so in love with somebody who obviously didn't love her back. And while that is extremely sad, she also talks about how, because she had been delusional and like been in love with somebody. Obviously that's what she's saying, but like she's alone in that relationship. Like she wasn't with anybody. So for her to be talking about this, and she, in the beginning of the song, she said, "Love will abide, taking things in stride. Sounds like good advice, but there's no one at my side. And time washes clean, love's wounds unseen. That's what someone told me, but I don't know what it means." She don't know how to get out of the situation that she's in. And the rest of the song, she goes on to talk about how she's tried everything to make that person hers, to love that person, to make that person love her back. And they never did. And so she says she's going to love them for a long, long time. That's the name of the song. I think in regards to being with somebody who doesn't reciprocate your energy, like what gets people, like why do people do that? I have one-sided friendships, and I think that the reason why I allow them to happen is because they fill a void at the moment. And that's me being genuine. Like I'm not even going to sugarcoat it or anything to y'all. I think I'm in those relationships subconsciously until I consciously realize like, oh, wait a minute, I'm not being given the same energy back. I'm not even talking about like relationship wise, because relationship, for example, if I'm crazy, the other person's crazier. You know what I mean? So like that is where that kind of energy matches itself. But there's some times where, as I'm talking to you guys, I'm realizing a lot of things right now. Like, first of all, no, that's absolutely wrong. People are like mirrored energies. You might be always nagging this person, yada, 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 and they're doing the same thing back to you, but in their way, with that same amount of energy. But one-sided relationships, you're constantly always listening to that person. You're always there for that person. And that person is MIA for you. Me personally, I have somebody in my life who won't even say like, hey, how are you? Like, goddamn. And I didn't realize until like I sat back and I looked at it through like this way. And I was looking at all the actions and everything that was like going on. That was hard. It hurts to know that the same thing that you're giving to somebody isn't being given back. Yes, of course. But I think sometimes God puts us in that position for a reason, you know? I think the universe aligns you with those things for a reason. I'm sorry if this seems a little bit scatterbrained or anything, but it'll all come together, I promise. You know, actually, she wasn't the one that wrote the song. It was Gary White who wrote the song, but I heard that back in the days, like they had a different like system going on for like all people to make money, sort of. Like she might have wrote the song, but he took the credit for it because maybe he was like her manager or something like that. That's what I heard in like one of my classes. But yeah, that line where she was just talking about living in a memory of a love that never was, that it was as if I lived in a memory of a love that never was. And maybe I did for some time, because I do hold on to potential a lot. I do hold on for what things could be in all of my relationships. I try to hold space and I never fully close doors. But this era that I've been in, this like new chapter, this part of my life has been like closing books, burning those bridges, done. You know, like, I don't need the photos. I don't need the messages. Like, babe, them text threads, gone. Them photos, gone. Instagram, gone. Snapchat, gone. Emails, gone. Like, if I'm going to keep something alive, it'll be through a memory, and that's it, you know? And I'm really the kind of person that if it's not accessible to me, it's like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. I think a lot of people like to think that I am, well, first of all, I am very intentional, but I might be doing something consistently for a short period of time, right? So like I'll be journaling for 3 months and then I'll stop. Because I kind of feel like I've taken what I can from that thing already, you know? I'm not the kind of person that has had like long strides of consistency in anything. And it's not, I don't find that to be a bad thing though. Like, sure, maybe here at this is what I consider my job. I have to be consistent, and that's why I'm here and I'm showing up all the time. But besides this, there's like 1,000 other things that I'm not, like, I can hang out with somebody for 5 months straight and then not hang out with them. But I think that there's a reason. You know, somebody actually said that to me yesterday. They were like, it's like whatever you're into at that moment or whatever. Yes and no. Because I think that person was kind of trying to throw shade, like, oh, I'm not hanging out with them or anything. And it's really not that I don't want to hang out. It's not that I can't hang out with other people, because I am hanging out with other people. I'm just not hanging out with you. You know? I think like some people have like a lack of self-awareness. Like like who are they, or why are they why I'm not hanging out with that person. I feel at ease in a lot of my decisions that I've been making. And I think that that comes from letting go of the expectation of people and their actions, of myself. I have goals, of course. But when it comes down to this has to be done like this and this is going to be this, and that's just gone. I can't force myself to do these things that are like inhumane. Not inhumane. They're not, I can't do them. I'm not a superhero. I mean, I might be a superhero, but not necessarily. Like, things have to take a little bit more time. I have to be a little bit more patient. I am in the process of like a really big life changing part of my life chapter. Things feel new, things feel uncomfortable. And that's what I strive for, you know? I don't always want to stay in places where I feel 100% like comfortable. Being comfortable in the uncomfortable. That's what I kind of like. Like, okay, this is new. Like, sure, great. I'm having a ball right now. I've been receiving a lot. You know, I've been listening to people's inputs and what they have to say about me and certain things like that. I heard somebody's perspective on my Instagram. And that really has like triggered something in me right now. Not in a negative way, but in a way of like a sense of gratefulness. Like a sense of like, I don't know if you ever stop and smell the roses and you look around and you're thankful for what you have, right? I feel like I'll sit and I'll be like, thank you, God, for hot water, for a roof over my head, for the health of my family, all of those things. But it's like, I start thinking about, okay, but these are the things that I want, right? Let it be that I want to live in a ranch. Like that's my goal. I want to live in a ranch and I want horses. I don't care about no chickens. I want some horses though. Let me get like 4 horses, 12 dogs, a couple cats. You know what I mean? Like, give me that. Okay, so that's what I want. So I guess through everything that I am doing and everything that everybody sees, that's what I look like I'm living. And I think that my mind and my actions, they are aligned with each other. Whether I'm aware of it or not, it's happening. I think that a lot of us, we don't see that. A lot of people will tell me like, oh, I really wish I could do this, what you're doing. Oh, so do it. You know, you're the only one that's stopping you. I'm the only one thinking to myself that I'm not living the life that I want to live. And I actually am. Like, okay, if it looks a certain way, talks a certain way, acts a certain way, whatever the hell that's saying, it is that way. The friend told me, oh, you look like luxurious. Like everything of yours is luxury. And for me, I'm like, well, damn, like I don't feel that. As I kept looking through the Instagram, I was like, yes, wait. And like I was looking at it through their eyes and I'm like, yes, you're absolutely right. I had to wake up and smell the roses. Like this is a luxury. My life is a luxury. Although I can sit and tell you like, first of all, I'm very humble. I feel very humble. I've had very humble beginnings. I've been poor. But I choose not to see it that way because that's just not what my life is. I'm very rich. I have a healthy family. I have a lot of love. I have everything I've ever wanted. I genuinely choose not to see the negatives in my life. And if I come off super positive or with so much light, that's just who I am. It has nothing to do with me trying to brag or whatever. This is just who I am. I am trying to, first of all, attain the whatever is in my brain, which I already have pretty much. And I am always going to send out positivity because that's what's inside of me. I feel like for a while I was thinking about like, oh, my podcast and my YouTube channel and stuff was always like talking about like the negative sides. But I felt like I had to do that because a lot of people think that like life is just roses and stuff like that. And it's really like my life is just roses and it's really not. But I have such a good way of looking at things and taking the best out of every situation. I don't sit and dwell. I don't complain. I try my hardest not to complain. And if I do complain, I find that I'm always complaining to find a solution. I'm not complaining just to complain. I actually cannot stand that. And I know I have to give grace and let people live their lives and do what they want. But at the same time, I can't stand somebody that's complaining about their job. Like, oh, another day I got to go to my job. So quit your job if you hate your job so much. Find another job. Like, why is it so difficult for people to just do what they want to do? Stop being in your own way. You're actually annoying. And it annoys me because I know how like far in life people could be if they just did the things that they want to do. Fuck what anybody got to say about it. Why the hell do you care anyways? They're not you. They're not living your life. Like, do what you want to do. What is the issue? Like, seriously, what is the issue? People always say, like, I wish I could do the things that you're doing. So do them. Like, I keep saying that because I have all of these comments in my head where people like come in my DMs or text me or call me or we'll be face to face and people are just like, oh, but I can't. Gain the confidence and walk. The worst that could happen is nothing. There's nothing bad that can happen from you doing what you want. You're gonna learn something. Don't come to me complaining about shit. And if I'm giving you a solution and you come back to me and you come back and you still complain, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore about it. I'm not doing that to myself anymore. I'm not gonna keep putting myself in situations where I'm getting annoyed because I like to take people's issues and make them my own and try to help them. And I've walked very far away from that where I needed to focus on me. I can serve as a help and sometimes as like, this is how to do it, but I can't immerse myself in people's problems anymore and I can't take on your issues. I can't. I feel that it's not my job to change your perception of me. If you think that I'm this brat or that I have all of this and I act this way, that's your perception. Actually, something really, 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 really like funny about all of this is that I don't know if many of you guys know who Aaliyah J is. She's a YouTuber. I would see people repost her and stuff like that, and I just kind of like, I don't know. I never watched her stuff, but I did have a negative perception towards her, not like in a bad way, like super bad or anything, but I was just like, oh, like she's full of herself, like she thinks she's all that. That couldn't be far away from the truth. I watched like a video of hers. I don't know what she was talking about. And I was like, oh, wait, I actually like this girl. I keep watching her videos. Now I'm like going through a rabbit hole watching everything she's ever posted. I realized she's a Gemini and I'm like, oh, this is what people see of me. Like, this is what people think of me. I just did what everybody else does to me. And that, once I realized that, I was like, damn, like, sometimes you got to really figure out where you're getting these things from. You know what I mean? Like, why are you being... I mean, it's not... I'm not obligated to follow this person or to anything. I never badmouth her or anything, but I wasn't like on a supportive train on hers either. Like, I wasn't, a fan or anything, like, whatever. But now I am. Like, I follow, I'm very supportive and stuff like that. But I was very happy that God like did that I came into that conclusion from that person, because it made me realize a lot about myself, which I think is the most important thing. I think that's what we all need to do. Why is it that I am looking at this person in that way? And I think my biggest mountain to push or to basically break down was being misunderstood. And I feel like I am always being misunderstood, and I felt like at one point it was my job to always clear all the allegations. You know why my nose is running actually? Because it's 64 degrees outside. Oh, why is it 64 degrees outside? It's 64 today. That's besides the point. I just wanted y'all to know that from one day to the next I was wearing booty shorts. Now I'm wearing sweats. It's not the vibe. But in being misunderstood and everybody thinks about me in a certain kind of way or whatever, I always wanted to clear the air and let people know, like, no, like, this is not like that and la la la. People are going to believe what they want to believe. And your art is up for interpretation of those people. You don't have to take in their interpretations. Their opinions don't have to be what you now create on your own. I didn't really have a formal opinion on my Instagram. Like, I didn't really know what people saw when they saw my Instagram, because obviously I'm living in it. So I know, like, oh, this is just this and this is just that. Now, talking to somebody who I am close with, but not that close really, and having them see it and tell me like, oh, nah, it gives this. It was like, oh, so now my perception is kind of not, I don't want to say warped, but I now see what they are saying, and whether I take it or not, that's up to me. But it's not going to change the way that I post anything, because I do try to be as realistic as possible. Like, these are the clothes I wear. This is how I talk. I don't know if like God has a thing of me learning to not be this way. Maybe I don't know if I'm supposed to change. I doubt I'm supposed to change, because I'm not even doing this consciously. Like, people, you are having an issue with me on your own. I didn't do anything to you. This is just me being who I am is what's bothering you. You know, and I feel like a lot of people like to come and dim our lights. And maybe it's not even God doing that. Maybe it's the other side. And it's like, maybe you should keep on shining and don't let these people bring you down. I literally got jumped in school because this girl thought that I was all that. She was like, oh, you think you're all that? For no reason. Like, girl, what was the reason of that? To then write to me on Facebook like a couple years later, talking about she's so sorry, she was such a hater and blah, blah, blah. And she was going through a lot of things. I was like, it's cool. Like, I'm still going to be me. Like, I don't know. I don't want anything to stop you from being you. And I feel like a lot of us, whether it be relationships or our jobs or our school, whatever, people around us, there's like a certain reoccurring thing in your life that is important to take note of as to why it's happening. I feel like if everybody's always constantly perceiving me as whatever, let them. I can keep living my life. I don't need that person in my life. Like, I can make space for the people that are supposed to be here. I don't need to focus or be hard on myself or something that you have made up of me. Like, that has nothing to do with me at all. A reoccurring theme in my life is miscommunication and people thinking things that aren't true of me. Some things that I would never even do, people have thought about me, thought that I have done. Certain things, I mean, it doesn't, I'm not gonna lie to you, it did dilute me. I think that's my favorite word. The word dilute, I think, is my favorite word, because why is it that every podcast episode I talk about dilute? For a while, I was very like watered down, for sure, 100%. Whether, it was from a couple of years. Like, it was a span of a couple of years that kind of like mushed me and put me in like nothing and broke me. I'm now picking up the pieces again. And actually, I'm picking up the ones that I like and the ones I don't like. People used to say I was cocky. I'm not cocky. And people, I don't mean people like, I mean people. There's also people that see my light and say how amazing of a person I am. And you know something? When I was younger, it didn't even bother me that much when people would say things to me. As I got older and I started caring about certain people's opinion of me, and I put them on a pedestal, and everything that they said is what was going to be, that then ended up shaping my reality. Oh, this person isn't going to like this, so let me be like this. And this person says this, so let me be this, and let me do this because of this person. Like, I found it so difficult to speak my mind on certain topics. I felt like I couldn't share my opinions on certain things because I didn't want to hear what my mom had to say about it. Like, I didn't want to hear her mouth and tell me like, oh, la, 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 la. You know? I think my mom was trying to like save me in a sense of like, you don't want to be perceived this way, so don't do this. And, like keeping me in check, which that's what parents do. But at a point in time, like, it kind of silenced me. you know? And I think that that's why I used to get in trouble a lot in school, because I really didn't have a balance. Like when I was with my mom, quiet, like, girl, she would give me that one look and it was a wrap. Like I wasn't even gonna act up. In school, where's my mom? I'm gonna act a fool. And I wasn't really acting a fool. I was just expressing myself. But since I didn't have a balance of a way to express myself, because it was either 0 or 100, it was coming out 100 at school and it was 0 at home. You know what I mean? Even though I've been opinionated all my life. Nobody's gonna take that away from me. Like I'm gonna have my opinions and I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I've had to find a balance. And I think that that's why my delivery sometimes can be so rough, because I feel that I have to come from a side of, I was never given the chance to speak. There's no reason for me to be emotional right now, but I wasn't given the opportunity to do so. So now I'm like forcing my way through it. And now it's like, you have to listen. No, you don't have to listen to me. I understand that. I wish I could be a little bit more, you know, like a little bit calmer in my delivery. These are things that I'm realizing though. I'm realizing like I'm very aggressive because of my passion, and why am I aggressive with my passion? And it's because I wasn't always allowed to say what I want to say. And if I was allowed to say what I wanted to say, it was like very hush hush. And you know something, one of my biggest things that I hate, I could say something to somebody. I've said this before. I could say something to somebody and they won't hear me say it, but they'll hear somebody else say it. And it's like, I just told you that. Why is it so difficult for you to listen to me? Like I've always felt very like unheard. And I think that that's what like puts this thing inside of me of like, no, you're going to hear what I have to say. I can see now why like I get very emotional where certain parents are like being rude to their children and stuff, children and stuff like that. Or like when I see kids not actually fully saying what they want to say. Like my brother, for example, I admire his ability to say what he wants to say all the time. The people that I follow and the people that I'm inspired by, they say what they want to say without any kind of like pauses or you know, at least to the outside world. Maybe you think I am like that or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to be. I think in finding the balance in expressing myself is also helping me not care so much of what you interpret of my art. I think that that's why it's so important for us to really reflect, especially on our childhoods, because like all of this started from me being a kid. And actually the song in the Linda Ronstadt song, she said blinking back the tears. That's me right now. I'm like I am realizing right now as we're talking, because I cannot give you a full episode on colorless oranges if I have fully drawn out word for word exactly what it is that's going to happen in these episodes. These episodes, they come from my heart. Sure, I can come up with an idea of what it is going to be about, but they are coming from the depths of my heart. And as we are talking, my mind is actively running through these scenarios and things. So at this very moment, I'm thinking about how I was always told, like, I talk a lot. I don't think it was always said in a way of bullying or anything. But I do think that, like, it transpired as something now that I have to battle. And at this age, I'm happy to have done it. I'm happy to do these things now. I don't want to do them later on in my life when I should have been doing them now. I think that a lot of our patterns, you know how they say, like, nip your patterns in the butt as quickly as you realize them. It's like, you know, I don't have to think I'm oversharing, or think I'm doing too much, or try to do less than what I believe. But I'm also realizing I don't have to do 1,000 so that the little me inside is like, yes, like I am being listened to, I'm being heard, and all of this stuff. I feel that I could possibly be doing it like so hard so that a part of like my void, that part inside of me that feels empty and not heard and all of those things, can feel like there is something happening for that, you know? And in order for that to feel something, the intensity has to be at 1,000. And that's not necessarily true. You know, I don't have to scream at the top of my lungs. I don't have to put on a show for anybody. I don't have to get you to understand exactly what I mean so that you know that I'm smart or anything like that. Just like I didn't know that on my Instagram I was giving luxury. It's the same way that I don't try to come on here and act like I'm this super educated person. I just am educated. And it just comes off that way. It is that way. Like, things are going to be what they are. And I think a lot of us are stopping ourselves from reaching our fullest potential because of these things that have happened to us in our childhood. And it's your prerogative to change it. Change whatever you do not like in your life. If you don't like how somebody treats you, cut them out of your life. Realize where they have put their seeds and where their seeds have grown into these massive trees that create your throat to be locked up, for your brain to not function, for you to lose your appetite. Realize what situations have done what to you. Take your time to introspect. Take your time to give yourself the space. You don't have to be hard on yourself either, because I think that's also one of the biggest issues for me, is that I'll be like, damn, like, why did I allow that to happen to me? But first of all, I was 9 years old. Or even when I was, 24, it was still hard for me to do certain things. Sometimes you don't feel worthy. Sometimes you don't have the enough confidence or the enough support to pull yourself out of these certain situations that you don't like. But at the end of the day, if you don't do it now, when will you? You don't want to give yourself another 6 years of the same. If you don't want to keep doing the same thing for the next year or the next 2 years, try to make a change. I know we always put everything off to the side, like, oh no, tomorrow. Babe, there's no tomorrow. There's today. Don't be so confident in tomorrow coming, because tomorrow might be a catastrophe. Tomorrow might not come. And what you have is today to work on what it is that you need to be where you want to be. To feel how you want to feel, to just live. I think it's extremely important to just release those expectations and to make space for the new you. I think it's so astonishing to have this conversation with you guys right now, because I'm really realizing why I do a lot of the things that I do and why I am the way that I am. And if I don't like the way that I am, I can just change it. And it might take a couple of times. It might take 1,000,000 times. The 1,000,001 time, I will be fine. But I will get through it. It's not the end of the world. And that's the true definition of grace. It's to realize that you have done something 1,000,000 times and you keep trying to come back and try to fix it. That's beautiful. Not just saying, oh, I'm never going to work out because I can't do this, or I'm never going to be able to be this soft-spoken person because of whatever. No, if that's what you want, you can't do it. Even if you got to start over 1,000,000 times, you can do it. Giving yourself the grace to keep on trying and to understand where you're at and how you need to get there. That's grace. That's beautiful. Grace to me is beautiful. I think that's why people name their child Grace, because it's actually a beautiful name. It's so nice to to be nice to yourself, to give grace to yourself, to understand that like I'm not going to get it on my first try or my 10th try, like whatever it is, but I will one day get it. And even if I got to keep starting at 0, I will get there. That's a little bit crazy to me. I'm not really that kind of person. One thing that I do want to try though is a cartwheel, because I'm so good at yoga. My body is so nimble. Like I can do so much, but I've never tried. Like I think I've tried to do a cartwheel. I don't think I've ever successfully done one. I would like to give myself the opportunity to do so. I think somebody would have to teach me though. My brother's good at a cartwheel. People might not understand why I'm posting the way I'm posting right now, colorless oranges. But if you are curious, my notes are I'm trying to like breadcrumb this, like kind of be like this quiet kind of thing, you know? That's my vibe. That's what I like. It's my page, my business. I can do what I like. And you see, even saying that, it's like me trying to confirm it to myself, reassure myself that it's okay to say these things. It's okay to do this. Like, girl, no, take it easy. We will do and say and act how we like. It's okay. You don't have to say that you're doing it. But if you have to, I guess, reassure yourself that it's okay to do so, then I think I am the kind of person that looks for reassurance often. Because sometimes I'm not as confident in my decision. That song also could be a way for her, not saying that that's what was the intentions or anything, but if you wanted to look at the song in a way of like for you to you know how she said like she never gave the person never gave her a response, or that she never drew a response from them, or she never got anything from them. It's like how you are with yourself. You want all of these things, but you've never done anything to get them. So you fell in love with obviously potential and what could have been. Like she said in the song, like she fell in love with, or she's living in a memory of a love that could have been. That to me is like so tragic. Imagine being 100 years old in your deathbed, like, damn, I could have, I don't know. You ain't gonna catch me with regret. I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna say that thing, and I'm gonna do that thing. Even though when I go to sleep at night, it might bother me that I said that or that I did, but at least I did it. Now I'm dealing with the repercussions of like, damn, did I really have to? No, but I did. And for the next time, it makes it easier for me to just use my voice. For the next time, it makes it easier for me to do what I want to do. Because I took that leap of faith. I listened to my intuition and I listened to myself, and I trusted myself in that I can do what I want to do. I don't need anybody else's opinion. I don't need anybody else's anything. I just got me, and I'm doing what I got to do with me. I love that song, by the way. Like it's my song that's been going on non-stop, 24/7. I haven't heard, like, it's embarrassing because I feel like people think like, oh, she might be depressed or something. I'm not. I love the voice. I love how she sang the song. I love songs with passion. I love songs that like mean something. That's why I listen to the artists that I listen to. That's why I like the things that I like, because they have meaning towards it. And trust me, every single thing that I ever do has meaning. I'm thinking about, like, for example, a picture. I don't always know exactly how things are going to be, but I do have a vision, right? So when I wore that white skirt the other day with the cute little vest, I know I was giving chemtrails over the water club. Like that's what, or over the country club. I know that that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be in like a big spacious park. That was the look. That was the vibe. Simple. I'm put this on because it's cold outside. Like, it's actually cold outside. This is intentional. I think we should try to move with intention. I think that we should try to take moments and realize what it is that we're doing. Shouldn't just be living on autopilot. You shouldn't just be doing it because somebody told you or because you have to. You should be doing it because you want to. And I cannot stand creative people that are in like, they don't like give themselves that grace, oh my God. Like, you're actually so fire. And why can't you see that? Makes me so sad. If you guys had to name this episode, what would you name it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope that you guys can find a way to give yourself some grace, give yourself some love, appreciate yourself for where you are and how far you've gotten. Realize those negative habits that you have going on that aren't allowing you to grow and evolve into the person that you're supposed to be. Stop hindering yourself. Let yourself be that person. Open yourself up to the new opportunities and just do things that make you feel uncomfortable. That is today's episode on Art is Up for Interpretation. I am Sydney Hyatt. I am Sydnerella. I am your host on Colorless Oranges. And I'll see you and you in the back soon. I love you so much. And you stay safe out there. You stay white, I'll be black.